Hi there. Welcome to the new session. Uh, in this session, we are going to see different kinds of strategies of international business. Previously, we have discussed the tools for environmental analysis like pestle analysis, SWOT analysis, and also value chain analysis we have discussed. Now, in value chain analysis, we have seen the primary activities and supporting activities. So, elaborately, we discussed this chart. Now, we'll see different kinds of strategies or different types of strategies in international business. If you observe that the chart which I'm showing here, like global strategy or transnational strategy, international strategy, multi-domestic strategy, all these strategies we have discussed earlier itself, right? When we are discussing about stages and approaches of international business, we discussed this. So we discussed as different kinds of strategies of international business. So now once again we discuss those concepts now. Different types of strategies for international business. So one is take you just consider this as a matrix. So now one side you are taking global integration, and other side you are taking local responsiveness. Local responsiveness is nothing but considering the customers in the local markets. Okay, so now we have the levels like low and high for global integration, and levels like low and high for local responsiveness. So now here we have four different types of strategies. One is global strategy, transnational strategy, international strategy, and domestic strategy. So now under domestic strategy, if you see, the global integration is low and local responsiveness is also low. For global strategy, the global integration is high and local responsiveness is low. And for multi-domestic strategy, the global integration is low and responsiveness is high. For transnational strategy, it is having both the global integration and local responsiveness, both are high. So now elaborately we will discuss what is this international strategy, multi-domestic strategy, global strategy, and transnational strategy. Okay, first multi-domestic strategy. So what is multi-domestic strategy? Domestic means what? First of all, in domestic business means what? So domestic business means within the country, right? So we are confined to a boundary, our local market. If we are considering only our local market, so then that would be called as domestic market. So now here multi-domestic markets. Now we are considering different kind of such kind of domestic markets. So right. So companies with a multi-domestic strategy has a aim to meet the needs and requirements of the local markets worldwide by customizing and tailoring their products and services extensively. Suppose you just take uh, five markets, right? So now we consider what are the conditions, what are the needs and requirements of market one, like how the needs and requirements of market two, the needs and requirements of market three, four, and five. So accordingly, we'll do our product, right? So we'll satisfy market one, we'll satisfy market two, three, four, and five according to the needs and wants of the customers. So means we are having five different kinds of products. Suppose if five different needs and wants or five different requirements, five different tastes are existing in different markets, five different markets. So then we'll change our product according to those five markets, right? So a product which satisfies one, a product which satisfies two, product which satisfies three, four, and five. So that is nothing but multi-domestic strategy. So means we'll satisfy the domestic markets. At the same time, we are going to satisfy the domestic markets in a wide range. Okay, means different types of markets. So that strategy we call it as multi-domestic strategy. So companies with multi-domestic strategy wants to satisfy the needs and requirements of the local markets, right? So but that local markets is of worldwide. Okay, and it usually customize means usually customizing means when we customize, if you want to satisfy the needs and wants of the customer, then we'll customize the product according to that market. So we'll customize and we'll sell our goods our products or services in those markets. So that strategy is nothing but multi-domestic strategy. Okay. If you observe that in multi-domestic strategy, so the global integration is very low. Means we are confining to that markets only. We are not collaborating, or we are not mixing all the needs and wants of all the markets. Just uh, we are just making or modifying our product according to that market only, right? If it is according to one, we'll modify product according to one, right? We'll distribute the product one type of category to that market only. If it is two, to that market only. So means we are not mixing the tastes and wants or needs and wants of the customers of all the markets. Just we are uh, just preparing different types of products according to the tastes or according to the needs of the customers. So if you see that the global integration is low and local responsiveness is high, means we are concentrating more on the local customers, right? We are preferring, we are identifying the needs and wants, then only based on that we are preparing the product and we are distributing. So more local responsiveness means customers will react to our product because we are able to satisfy the needs and wants of the customer. So the global integration is low and local responsiveness is high under multi-domestic strategy. Now global strategy. So if you see that, so the global strategy or the global companies are exact opposite to the multi-domestic strategy or multi-domestic companies. So they offer a standardized product worldwide. So suppose if they are having 5 markets, let's take the example of same example, 5 markets. So for 5 markets, so they'll concentrate on, they'll they'll prepare a standard product for all the 5 markets. So one kind of product. So the needs and wants of the customer, they may survey before launching the product. So but they'll prepare a standardized product. So just their goal is only to maximize the efficiency and to reduce the cost, that's all. Suppose if you are preparing individually for market one product, two one product, three one product, the cost of production will be increased. So that if one's cost of production is increased, the cost of goods, means the prices also will be increased. But whereas in global strategy they are following standardized product, so they can reduce the cost and they can reduce the price. So obviously if you see, all these global companies are all centralized, and subsidiaries are very dependent on headquarters. Otherwise if you made the product as customized, so means all these headquarters, means the main holding company has to dependent on the subsidiary companies. But if they follow this strategy, so they'll follow the centralization. At the same time the subsidiaries will be dependent on headquarters or the holding company. Okay, so that is global strategy. So global strategy won't give much importance to the response of the customers, but it will have a high global integration. Means so they'll mix up all the needs and wants of the customers. So they'll mix up the cultures, they'll mix up the needs. So all these things. So the global integration will be high in global strategy, whereas the local responsiveness, means the customers needs and wants, will be low. So that is global strategy. And next one is transnational strategy. Transnational. Under transnational strategy, if you observe that the global integration is high and also the local responsiveness is also high. So what they are going to do? The transnational company has a characteristic of both global and multi-domestic firms. So means they follow individually, they follow multi-domestic firms, means multi-domestic strategy, at the same time global strategy also. Its aim is to maximize both. Its aim is to maximize the local responsiveness, means the benefits, and also maximize the global integration. So even though it seems impossible, it is actually perfectly adoptable method. Just by based upon the value chain considerations, translational companies can create economies of scale, so that they could adopt different kinds of marketing and sales according to the global strategy, and products according to the multi-domestic strategy. So with respect to the product, they follow multi-domestic strategy, and with respect to the marketing and sales procedures, they follow global strategy. So if they adopt these two, so they can get high benefits in both the cases of local responsiveness and global integration. So that is transnational strategy. And coming to international strategy, excuse me, international strategy, right? So international strategy is just a bit high than domestic strategy. Means a domestic company usually produces the goods and services it wants to satisfy the customers, that's all, that local market. So once if production is going on, so if unexpectedly if production was increased because of some other changes like availability of raw material or availability of high technology, if production is increased, so that additionally produced goods can be exported. That is nothing but international strategy. It is just a kind of one of the way to export. So international strategy is nothing but exporting strategy. Just we export the goods to other countries, we don't follow any kind of strategy over there. So international companies so has little need for local adaptation and global integration. So that's why international strategy is low in both the cases. It is low in local responsiveness and also low in global integration. So the majority of the value chain activities has to be maintained by the headquarters. This strategy is also known as exporting strategy. So these four are different kinds of international strategies: global strategy, transnational strategy, international strategy, and domestic strategy. So under global strategy, one is global integration is high and local responsiveness low. Transnational, global integration is high, both are high, local responsiveness is high. And under international strategy, both are low. Under domestic strategy, international global integration is low, whereas local responsiveness is high. Okay, so now let us go for the next hot topic. So that is strategy implementation. So I told you what is a strategy. Strategy is nothing but an action plan an action that we do, that we take in order to implement a plan is nothing but a strategy. So now, so how do we implement that? How do we implement strategy? So strategy implementation refers to execution of the plans and strategies so as to accomplish the long term goals of the organization, right? So why do means what how we implement, what is the meaning of this strategy implementation? Means to accomplish or to fulfill the goals of the long term goals of the organization. Usually, so it converts the opted strategy into moves into actions, and finally actions are leading to achieving the objectives. So that is simply, if you want to say what is strategy implementation is nothing but the opted strategy will be converted into moves, and moves into actions, and actions into achieving the objectives. So here you can see the chart how strategy will be implemented, right? So we'll have a plan. First of all, we'll have a plan, strategic plan. So that strategic plan has to be implemented in in project, in procedure, and in resource. Okay, in these three forms we have to implement that strategy first: project implementation, procedural implementation, resource allocation. According to the plan only you have to allocate the resources. So based on the resource allocation only you have to prepare a procedure, and that has to be implemented. So once the procedure has been prepared and implemented, based on that the project implementation will takes place. In the project, that strategic plan has to be implemented. So first you need to prepare the plan, resource allocation, procedural implementation, project implementation. So all these three will give you a structural implementation and leadership implementation, which is nothing but managing change. So if you are doing something different, means if you are changing your strategy or if you are changing your plan, obviously you'll have change. Obviously it will leads to change. So if change existing, so then many of the employees in your organization may resist to change. So then what are the things you need to do. So before implementing that, before implementing or before taking all these changes, so like project implementation, procedure implementation, resource implementation, so before taking these kind of changes into the employees or into the workers, you have to change the structure of the organization first, means hierarchy of the organization, and then the leadership implementation. So once if you are able to do these structural changes and leadership changes, then you can easily able to manage the change. And then functional implementation, once if you are able to do these changes, so you can implement these changes in function and also at the same time in operations. So right, so one these functional and operational implementations will give you a result, right? Means we have implemented that strategy. So once if the strategy is implemented, you are going to get a result. So that result has to be evaluated, means what is the result that we are getting, it has to be evaluated. You have to give value for that, or you have to ascertain it, right? Once giving that evaluation, you have to control it, means you need to verify or you need to check whether the implementation is done according to the plan or not, or any other deviations are happened in the implementation. If any deviations are, so what are the things you need to do, so that you have to check evaluation and control. So once evaluation and control is done, you have to take feedback from all these cases, like uh, where you have in the case of achieving strategies, in the case of managing change, in the case of effectiveness. So from all these three stages or all these three structural branches, you have to take the feedback, and finally again, you if some changes are needed, again you should go for the plan, and achieving strategies, managing change, and achieving effectiveness, finally evaluation and control. So this is a strategy implementation cycle, like how you have to implement a strategy. uh, Now also you can see the process of same what I have explained in this chart. So that is here written in the points. So the process of strategy implementation, so you have to building an organization that possesses the capabilities to put the strategies into action successfully, right? So once if if you formulated strategy, if you have a plan and if you formulated strategy, so without implementing that, there is no use, or without possessing the capability to implement that, doing all these things is waste of time and waste of effort, right? So building an organization that possesses the capability to put the strategies into action successfully, supplying resources for that, right? Sufficient quality, quantity, all the essential strategy, essential things that need to be provided, and developing policies to encourage that strategy. Such policies and programs are to be employed continuously and to be monitored continuously. So once if it is achieved, so combining the reward structure and achieving the results, finally using the strategic leadership. So all these things need to be implemented in this, in achieving strategies or managing change or effectiveness. So all these things need to be re-ensured whenever you are implementing the strategy. Now, let us see the strategic alliance. So, what is the meaning of alliance? Alliance is a kind of joining hands, or having an agreement, or understanding between two or more people or two or more companies. So that here we are discussing in the form of strategies, right? Strategic alliances. So alliance is also one of the kind of strategy, right? So joining hands with other companies or joining hands with the with other people also sometimes one of the strategy for you to go forward or to reach your goals, right? So that is strategic alliance. That's what we are going to discuss now. So strategic alliance are agreements between two or more independent companies to cooperate in the manufacturing, development, sale, products or services, or any other kind of business objectives. So as I told you, it is an agreement between two or more companies. So they join together, or they'll have an agreement between two or more independent companies in order to cooperate. Means they have to help each other in case of in manufacturing, in development or in sales, goods and services, or any other kind of business objectives. So, for example, in a strategic alliance, company A and B combine their respective resources, capabilities, and core competencies and mutual interest in order to in getting the result of designing, manufacturing, distributing goods or services. Means here in this example, if you see two companies A and B, so they both join together. They collaborated their resources, they collaborated their capabilities, they joined their competencies, all the things, competitive advantages, all the things they have joined together. So that that leads to a result of designing a manufacturing or distribution goods and services for all these things. So it has been uh, they have joined their hands. So now let us see what are the different types of strategies over here. Strategic alliances, there are three different types of strategic alliances. One is joint venture, equity strategic alliance, and non-equity strategic alliance. So I think we all know what is this joint venture or equity strategic alliance, all these things, because we discussed before itself uh, in the modes of international business. When we want to enter into international business, so we followed certain strategies to enter into other countries. So one of those methods are this joint venture, right? So joint venture means, so a joint venture is a kind of uh, is a kind of baby for two or more companies, right? So a joint venture, when the parent company is established a new child company, so then that kind of strategy we call it as a joint venture. Two companies A and B, suppose if you take A and B, two companies, they join together and they formed a new company. So a new company C, so that would be called as a joint venture. If two companies A and B are parent companies and the newly created company C is a child company, so that strategy would be called as joint venture. If you see, in addition to that, company A and B each own 50% of the child company. Means A is having 50% of rights in C, B is also having 50% in C. That would be called as 50-50 joint venture. Suppose if A is having 70% and B is having 30%, then the joint venture is classified into majority owned venture. Means, so majority of the share or the percentage of investment belongs to A. So that is that company belongs to A. Majority part will be belong to A. So that is nothing but majority owned venture. So usually this 70% and 30% or 80% and 20% uh, comes less often, right? um, 50-50 joint ventures only we usually see. So that is one of the types of strategic alliance. So other type of strategic alliance is equity strategic alliance. So an equity strategic alliance is created when one company purchases certain equity percentage of other company, right? So means here not collaboration, not collaborating, but they usually purchase in others company. Suppose you just take example of A and B. If A purchases 40% of equity means shares or the investment. If A purchases 40% of equity in company B, then that would be called as equity strategic alliance. Okay, so means uh, they are buying out these shares. Okay, so that is strategic alliance. So next one is non-strategic alliance. So non-strategic alliance means not no, sorry, non-equity strategic alliance means not buying shares, but just with an relationship or a kind of uh, credibility on the basis. If you are doing this strategic alliance, then that would be called as non-strategic alliance. So a non-strategic alliance is created when two or more companies sign in a contractual relationships to pool their resources and capabilities together. So just like memorandum of understanding or MOU. like MOUs if they are doing, so then that would be called as non-equity strategic alliance. Okay, so these are all different types of strategic alliances. So in this class we have seen different types of strategies, international strategies, and their responsiveness and strategy implementation, types of strategic alliances. Right, we'll see the reasons, the challenges, and other things in the next session. Okay, thank you. If you have any doubts, you just reach me.